I think Heinz Hall gives joy. It gives tradition. It gives multi-generational wisdom. It speaks to music and great art.
The idea was if you could bring cultural activities into the heart of the city, that it would sort of rejuvenate and bring a different kind of life to downtown.
It's so amazing when you have an audience, when the hall is filled with people. The electricity is a tangible thing, you can feel it.
Mr. Heinz saw this as the anchor to an entire cultural district. Heinz Hall was the original gem. It's the icon. We come and we love it and we don't leave.
It satisfies my emotional need to hear this wonderful music and to see the performers on stage. Heinz Hall is like home because we're part of the Pittsburgh family.
We still have dreams that we need to aspire to in Pittsburgh today. The cultural vision that ultimately became the cultural district in downtown is still a work in progress. The vision for this incredible world-class orchestra remains a constant work in progress because the work of creating excellence and maintaining it is never done. And I think part of what Jack Heinz did, and then in his tenure, Senator Heinz, and then Teresa strongly throughout her years, and now Andre Heinz, that's still how it happens.
At the time, late 60s and early 70s, a lot of cities were in a lot of trouble. There was riots going on, people were burning down cities.
The credit goes to the vision of Jack Heinz. He was looking for a place to take the orchestra, and I think his mother actually told him the Lowe's Pen was about to be torn down. So he organized a concert to test whether the hall would work for the symphony. After that test, they moved full speed ahead. He did it with a relatively small number of private donors. It was the only theater in town that was in operation for performing arts. It also ended up being right smack in the middle of the red light district of Pittsburgh. He turned it over to the Pittsburgh Symphony. Mr. Heinz was the vice chair of the Pittsburgh Symphony Board for 36 years. The success was there, the kinds of reputation that the city has nationwide and even worldwide, that largely due to the symphony.
We did a lot of work for the Heinz Company and worked on some of their plants that were over on the north side. Don McLaughlin and Lou Fosner, who were two of the partners, loved opera and happened to be extras in the opera at the time. Mr. Heinz was aware of this, and he basically asked our firm if we would be involved in the renovation of Heinz Hall. They're really, in our mind, an important part of the entire art scene of the city of Pittsburgh, and architecture plays a role in that as well.
It's about 241,000 square feet, so it's a very large building. We're blessed with more front of house space than any theater in Pittsburgh. We've got the outdoor garden, the under plaza space, rehearsal rooms back here. Mr. Heinz and Drew Heinz' involvement here was a labor of love. Mrs. Heinz walked into Angela Connor's studio in London and never said a word to her. And 2 weeks later, commissioned her to do the first water sculpture called Quartet. We have the water sculpture that is currently out there called Arpeggio. Mr. Heinz himself, with the foresight to buy the carpet twice. We went back to the Bloomsburg Carpet Company in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. They had the exact same looms with the pattern. It is the golden triangle representation in the pattern. Downtown Pittsburgh was always referred to as the golden triangle. You had the look of the cupolas that are so unique and distinctive as an iconic image of Heinz Hall on the outside, created and built by Overly Manufacturing up in Greensburg. Real copper, so it patinaed to the green that is there. At Loebmeyer, the Austrian lead crystal, they made it all. They shipped it over here. They never saw it. We've continued it when we did the wall sconces and the chandeliers in the most recent renovation of the Grand Tier and the Encore Lounge. Their Lohmeyer crystal. It's just incredible vision and foresight. It continues to this day. And the folks at MCF are instrumental in continuing to help us.
The dream was to use the arts as a tool for transforming an entire downtown. In the time when this was a very difficult area, what Jack Heinz figured out was we could use art and culture and creativity to make this a place that people want to be. There's a great phrase that Jack Heinz used in those days about engaging his community of friends in creating Heinz Hall, the band of dreamers. And what was the core of that idea was we're going to take a group of people who really believe in something, and together we're going to turn that something into a reality through the power of our dreaming. It was also that they did the hard work. I think he would love that the community is coming together to celebrate 50 years. I think he would also be astounded by the level of change that has happened. The arts really did expand outward from Heinz Hall as a transformational tool for the city.
Since 1984, when I moved to Pittsburgh, I've been a patron and a donor. And the reason is that my husband and I love classical music. Everybody I know is looking forward to returning to the concerts. It's nothing quite like having the live music which kind of washes over you.
Everybody's very excited to come back here. When you bring a different audience in this hall for the first time, they are so bowled over because they just don't realize how beautiful it really is.
The symphony has a great education program. They bring in the school kids and they learn how to play different instruments, and the symphony players are working with them. And it's important to Pittsburgh because we want to be a world-class city, and you really need the cultural life that other great cities enjoy.
People want to come together and to have the opportunity to interact. And I think that the opportunity that lies ahead for us is to figure out how to open that up for more people. What we can predict is that greatness will remain relevant, and that the thirst for common experience will remain relevant, and we just have to make sure that all the old barriers that got in the way of everyone experiencing that come down. Jack Heinz got to see the hall created, but he didn't get to see what downtown became. We're embarked on continuing to try to make this a more inclusive community, and a community where the greatness that happens here radiates outward to the rest of the cultural district and to the rest of the city and to the rest of the country in some ways. And that is not the work of one person's lifetime, but it's an incredible opportunity to be involved in it. What I hope is people will come here and have the experience that lets them appreciate Pittsburgh again, lets them appreciate being in community again, but also lets them appreciate themselves in some new ways that help elevate what comes next for them.